Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the U Sports Report. It's Thursday, brand new episode coming at you here today. Tyler Ortega, joined by Kimbry Temple. No Khalil with us today. He'll be back next week, bringing you all of his hot takes and everything else. So let's get it started right away, Kimbry. Game 6 of the NBA Finals is tonight, going on down there in Cleveland. Cleveland looking to stave off elimination. Now, going back to Game 5, Kevin Love only scored 2 points. LeBron and Kyrie dropped 41 each. So I'm going to put it to you plain and simple here. Do you think Cleveland can win if Kevin Love only scores 2 points tonight?
You know, we talked about it earlier on the show. Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving both being huge assets to Cleveland, but with Kevin not producing the numbers that Kyrie and LeBron have put up on the board, it's going to be really difficult for Cleveland, especially at home. They don't want this loss. They definitely want to show Golden State at least a tough battle, and they want to force a Game 7, and I'm thinking that Cleveland's really going to need Kevin Love to step up to do that.
I completely agree with you. Now, this will be Cleveland's final home game of the season, ladies and gentlemen, so you know they're going to come out to play. This is potentially the last game of the NBA season at that, you know, should Cleveland lose. So as a basketball fan, you definitely want to see some more basketball, but deep down, you know, I think Golden State's going to take it, especially with Draymond Green coming back. They need that intensity there. Andrew Bogut will not be in tonight or for Game 7, should there be one. He did suffer some bone bruises on that knee during that fall in Game 5. So it's going to be difficult. No rim protector there for Golden State. And we know Cleveland, very aggressive. LeBron likes to get to the bucket. Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, they have a lot of bigs down there.
They do.
How do you see Cleveland getting to the bucket? How do you think Golden State will combat that without Andrew Bogut?
You know, we're going to watch some highlights, and we're going to watch Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving is almost a match made in heaven when it comes to the basket. Kyrie knows how to shut Steph down, and Steph knows how to score a lot of points. So I think Kyrie and Steph, it's going to be a really interesting matchup. Steph's really going to need to be on his A game to get those points accurately in the hoop. But Kyrie has always had some kind of skill at shutting Steph down.
Kyrie is he's quick, which is really what helps on defense. And the fact that he has quick hands, I mean, we've seen Steph's pregame dribbling routine. He is wild with his handles. But as good as Steph is, I think Kyrie's just a little bit better handling the ball.
He is, and he's a young guy. He's got a lot of energy and an entire career ahead of him. So he's got nothing but growth ahead of him, I think.
I could not agree more. Let's go ahead and take you through some highlights from the first 5 games of this series. We'll go ahead and show you some big plays here on Around the Nation. So starting off here in Game 1, again, Cavaliers, Golden State Warriors. Second time they're doing this in the NBA Finals, Kimbry.
It is, and last year we watched as Golden State and Cleveland had a very tough series, and I think Cleveland definitely has a chip on their shoulder in this series against Golden State.
So here in Game 1, this was the infamous moment. Steve Kerr, very frustrated, breaks the clipboard. When they asked him about it later, he said it's better to take his frustrations out on that than on one of his players. You know, I couldn't agree more.
Definitely. You don't want a coach to aggress his players at all, especially in an intense situation like the NBA Finals. This is an intense moment for both teams.
And here we see Shaun Livingston getting the cleanup bucket. Now, Shaun Livingston was a huge impact in Games 1, 2, and 3 when Steph seemingly couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
That's a great way to put it. He's shown the entire nation that Golden State doesn't just rely on Steph and Klay Thompson, although we already knew that they've got a lot of assets.
Now, this here is Game 2. We see Klay Thompson from downtown. He exploded in this game. And here goes Klay dishing it off to Livingston. And a nice finish on the break. Iguodala now finds Harrison Barnes on a nice little cut. Again, this is quarter 2 of Game 2. Draymond Green from way downtown. Not very often you see that. So moving on now, Game 3, Richard Jefferson from the corner. Now, speaking of Richard Jefferson, he told the fans in Cleveland just a couple of days ago, lay off of Draymond a little bit. Because whenever you get Draymond mad, he gets more intense and he plays better. How do you feel about that?
You know, I think if Draymond Green has learned anything from his 1-game suspension, he's got a little bit of rest, so hopefully he's got plenty of energy, but I think he's also cleaned up his attitude a little bit, and going into Game 6, his intensity won't be any less, but maybe his attitude will be.
I certainly hope so, as you see Kyrie Irving tearing it up right there. And this, a little bit of a controversial play here, as Steph's going to come down with the rebound, and Kyrie gets his hand caught in Steph's uniform. He's got to get that hand wrapped, but it doesn't seem to affect him right here as he rises up and tells Steph, go hard or go home. This is the NBA Finals.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about with Kyrie and Steph. A wonderful match makes Steph really work for those points.
And it also drains Steph on the defensive end. And this right here, a sweet look. Look at this 360 view of this LeBron dunk. That was last game, of course, where Cleveland were able to stave off elimination. So again, tonight, Game 6.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the betting odds from Vegas. Let's see what they think. As we have Cleveland, they're going to be favored by 2 points tonight. The over/under 207.5. I think I would take the over on that, Kimberly.
You know, I agree with you. When it comes to betting odds, I'm not necessarily the most knowledgeable, but with this series, I definitely think the over is the safe bet. If you're not used to betting, that's what I would suggest going with.
Well, I mean, whenever you look at it, the 207.5, that just means that each team has to score 104 points.
Yeah.
Which both of these teams are more than capable of doing.
And any fan wants to see that.
Exactly.
Especially in a Game 6 for Cleveland.
But, I mean, last game we saw Cleveland really lock it down in the fourth quarter on defense. Let's see if they can come out with that same intensity here tonight and sustain it throughout 48 minutes.
I think, you know, Cleveland, like I said before, they've got a chip on their shoulder. They've got some young stars. So does Golden State. It's going to be a really strong matchup. It's a Game 6. Cleveland's going to want to force for that Game 7. And, again, they don't want to lose at home.
Yeah, let's see if Golden State is able to capture the championship on the home floor of the Cavs once again. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We got the college rundown coming up for you here next on the U Sports Report.